Hey, Burn, check it out. Come on, wish me luck.
All right, where's the gold? Good luck, buddy.
Oh! Feature, motherfucker!
Wow, all right, good job.
Oh, yes!
Oh my god.
God, listen to the music. Wow, look at all those coins on the screen. This is going to be big, man. This is going to be huge. This is going to change our lives.
It's going forever.
I know. Oh, wow, look at all the flashing lights. And man, this is big. I can't wait to go home and tell the wife. God, mate, it's still going. Oh my god. Look at these numbers appearing. Everything's flashing.
Holy shit, dude.
This is it, man.
All
Your
right.
microphone's on me. Okay. And
Wow.
it is done.
Shit, dude. How much did you win?
40 cents.
Okay. How much did you put in?
$10, but I won 40 cents.
I'm pretty sure that's not how it works.
Well, sorry. Okay, fine. I put in $1,000, but I won 40 cents though, so it's 1,040 cents.
All right, look. That's definitely not how it works. Let's have a sit down. I'll explain this to you.
Wait a minute. I just need to get my $1,000 back I put in before.
How hard this was to research and try and get the community like I was doing work.
Hey, you burn.
What's going on, dude?
Nah, not a lot, man. Not a lot. Just up all night last night with a bloody headache migraine thing, which is just shit.
Oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah, I know. It sucks, man. It's just like this, just this positive feedback loop. You're up, you got a headache, you're tired.
Feeling all right now, though, right? You're not going
Feeling
to
a
be
bit
grumpy
better.
during this episode.
Shut up. I'll fucking get grumpy when I want.
You're allowed to pull out the comedy gold now. You're
Oh,
not just
yeah,
gonna sit there
yeah.
rubbing your head.
Yeah. Strap yourself in, listeners, for some comedy genius.
That's no good. Did you get any Panadol? Does that work? Or
I didn't actually have any Panadol. And the problem was it was like 2 a.m. in the morning, so you really can't go anywhere. It's like, what do you do? Do you get up and get in the car and drive up the street?
I don't know. Apparently, an orgasm's good for a headache.
Oh,
So I've been told.
what's that?
I don't know. I've never verified it, but I'm not going to deny it. I don't want to look it up. If that's wrong, I don't want to know.
Ignorance is bliss.
It's right. Just roll over. Ask the wife. I've got a really bad headache, and you.
Yeah, because that's what someone wants to hear at 2 a.m. in the morning. I've got a headache. Can I wake you up?
Give me a quick HJ.
Yeah, best cure for a headache is your displeasure.
Still, Panadol or,
Yeah, I know.
Bit of
I
action.
know what my wife would want me to take.
for better or worse, sickness and health.
So you vowed on our wedding day, in sickness and in health.
Oh, jeez. Well, something that might cause a headache for a lot of people, just segueing into the episode here, is gambling, specifically poker machines or slot machines, I think they're called in the US.
I somehow feel that this relates to something you did on Saturday, Bert.
I was at the bar on a Saturday night, and I was with one of our mutual friends, and he asked a few questions about poker machines, and I had no idea about how they work.
Excellent.
I thought, what great inspiration.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't make it that night. I had to go see a movie with the wife.
Sound disappointed.
Oh, yeah.
Was the movie all right, or?
That's all right. This was Hereditary. It was actually kind of good film. It was a good film. I won't use any spoilers or anything like that, just in case the listeners want to go see it. But it's worthwhile seeing.
It's worthwhile see? All
Yeah.
right. Well, if it makes you feel better, the guy our mutual friend lost a bit of cash, so...
Oh, that makes me feel he's better. That's awesome. I wish I was there.
He was down. So I got into thinking, maybe we can help this guy out. Maybe we can work out how to beat the poker machines.
Okay.
Now, first thing I want to stress is, responsible gambling. We are not condoning going out and blowing a mortgage on a poker machine.
Yeah, I don't think anyone condones that. I love it. I love these ads because I'm not sure in the US. Actually, they wouldn't have it in the US. In Australia, we have these ads, and it'll be like from Sportsbet or William Hill, who are the big kind of gambling
TAB
organizations,
and all that sort of stuff.
And they say, we've got crazy odds right now. We've got, Queensland to beat New South Wales by 12 points. And if it's over 13 points, you'll get your money back. Remember, gamble responsibly. It's just like, here's all these great deals. Here's how you can't lose. But gamble responsibly. It's such a crock of shit. Like, it's become so over-regulated and there's so many loopholes in that regulation.
The amount of shit you can bet on now as well is actually ridiculous.
Oh, you can bet on MasterChef, which is like a cooking show. You can bet on the fucking winner. Did you know that? No, you can bet on the MasterChef. Yeah.
My wife's a cook. Maybe I should hit her up for her expertise.
I don't know. You can bet on MasterChef. You can also bet on elections and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know you can bet on elections.
Yeah. Is gambling is the type of style of gambling we have here? Is that legal in the US?
No.
I can see why.
We have some serious gambling issues here in Australia, and it's really open out here. And legal, I suppose, keeps it above board. Might be the wrong choice of words, but yeah, it keeps it monitored. And they're never going to make gambling illegal. There's a huge revenue break for governments here.
Yeah, absolutely. And you only go to even just a pub, because even at the regular pub now for the American listeners,
New South Wales,
particularly in New South Wales, yeah. Where there used to be live music venues where bands could go play and musicians could perform and stuff like that, is now a lot of these places are just boom pokies. And we're not talking about 3 pokies, 2 pokies, whatever. I noticed in pubs when I was over in London, there might have been 1 or 2, they call them fruities.
Yeah, okay.
Still don't know how the fuck to play those things. I think I lost about $20. I paid $20 to be confused. I'm like, what the hell is this? But in Australia, you could go to a pub, even the pub you're at. How many poker machines do you reckon were at the pub?
Oh, probably 20, 30.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty small
Even the
pub,
the corner pub up the road, there's the inn. I reckon there's about 20 or 30 there as well. These things are ridiculous.
A veterans club and went into the poker room after a football match together, and I actually got lost in the poker room. I couldn't believe how many poker machines were there.
Is that the RSL?
Yeah.
The RSL, we call it?
Yeah,
Was it Return Service League?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one that we go to, there's over 100.
Oh my God, I couldn't believe it. I'd never been there before. I got lost. I was trying to find our mates, and I was just walking around in this blazing lights and spinning reels and musical coin droppings.
Yeah. So to our US listeners, unfortunately, there's very few pubs anymore that actually are designed solely for the purpose of drinking and fighting.
Yeah, but if you're a gambling addict, apparently this is Disneyland. So if you are a gambling addict, though, please in Australia, you can go to gamblinghelpline.org.au, or you can call 1-800-858-858. Or in the USA as well, they have their own version as well, which is ncpcgambling.org, or you can call them on 1-800-522-4700. Gambling is a real big issue. It can cost a lot of people.
You are not going to make your money back.
No. You just ruined my show, Wade. Great, this episode is over.
You're not going to make your fucking money back. Seriously, there's a reason why there's over 100 pokies in our local pub.
That's right. It's fantastic money for the pub.
Yeah, exactly. There's a reason. Yeah. Okay, so what are we looking at today?
So I just wanted to research about the poker machines, because we don't mind a bit of a slap, you and I. We'll go in there. I don't think we're gambling addicts, but if we got a bit of time, I'll put a 20 or something in, have a low bet. It kills a bit of time. It's a bit of fun. And,
I don't really use the poker machines. I prefer betting on sport. I like betting on sport.
Yeah, you got a much better chance of actually winning in sport because you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's much more predictive. Yeah, where
absolutely.
It's not randomness like rolling dice or something.
Well, that's it. I had a look, and to win the top prize on a poker machine, and that's the odds of it are about somewhere, depending on the poker machine, about 1 in 10 million.
Oh.
Okay.
So wait, you got more chance of winning the lottery?
Oh, let me go through. I went through. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it depends on the lottery. Powerball slightly less, but some of those 5-number draws, you've got a little bit more. But a poker machine to win the top prize is nowhere near the same prize as a lottery either. So you win multiple millions in the lottery. A poker machine, your top prize is usually about $1 million.
Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, so just to put this in perspective, I looked up a few things that you have a better chance of happening than winning the top prize on a poker machine. Getting hit by lightning is one. Getting eaten by a shark. You're more likely to get eaten by a shark than win the top prize.
And that's so rare too.
Yep. Winning an Olympic gold medal. You're more
really?
Likely, yeah.
More likely to win an Olympic gold medal.
And this isn't just random websites I went to try and work out. I went through a number of websites saying what is more likely than winning and what are the odds of all this. So this is verified by a few multiple sites here. Okay. Being crushed by a meteorite is more likely than winning the top prize on poker machine. Here's one which kind of relates. Becoming a billionaire is more likely than getting the top prize on a poker machine.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Becoming a movie star is another one.
Shit.
And one of my favorites, you're actually more likely to die of constipation than to win on a poker machine and top prize.
Mate, have you seen what some of those people do at the casino with those cups? They are not constipated. They are not dying of constipation or any kind of excretory kind of
Oh my God. Yeah, no, there's some
issue.
people that, like, just push the reserve button and go to the bathroom. you know?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember once we were at a casino and I got like we're playing like I think it was like blackjack because I don't know poker. I don't know a lot of the stuff. So I know just blackjack's just kind of like 21. You know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
There. Yay.
Yeah, you can split it if you get a 10 or an ace, and it's a good idea. You know. Anyway, I remember I was sitting next to this guy, and I got a good card, and then I got the card that he wanted to get, and then I said, "Oh, sorry, man. You know, like just I don't take it seriously." I pat him on the back, and he said, "No, don't pat me. Don't touch me. You're not meant to touch. You don't touch someone at a table." And I'm like, "Look, man, I wasn't, touching you in that way, but it's just a friendly sorry, bud. I got the card you wanted, just trying to be friendly here. I'm half cut. Like,
that's
just
right.
trying to make friends here."
Don't touch at the table.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
okay.
apparently it was like some people consider it bad luck.
To be touched at the table.
touched at a table.
Oh,
Not like fucking, in the thigh type thing. Like,
Yeah.
it's, he was looking at me a bit weird when I started tickling his
I'm
balls.
sure there's a lot of people in the high rollers room that are getting touched under the table. Yeah.
Yeah, but apparently, like, there's all these little things that you're not meant to do, and it's just like, oh man, there's so much woo in this. This is just fucking ridiculous.
Huge amounts. So I had to look at some of them as well, and some of the things that they have to justify. I went to a number of government websites about advice to do with gaming, even websites that advocate for poker machines, so, lobbyists basically and things like that. They talk about it. And all of them stress you cannot improve the odds of winning by playing at different times of day. So some people go and play when it's less crowded or anything like that. Or your odds of winning do not change if you play for a prolonged period of time on the one machine either. So a lot of people think, it's going to pay out, and I'll stick on the one machine for ages. Doesn't change the odds of winning.
Well, yeah, because that would mean that each spin, imagine like a poker machine is like what's it like? What are they called in the US? They still call them poker machines in the US. Don't
Slot
they?
machines. I think
Slot
they're called,
machines.
yeah.
Slot machines. In the slot machines, like that means that each time you press a button or pull the lever, it's independent of the previous time, like flipping a coin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So it's like this one's going to be heads, this one's going to be heads. Like, well, no, it could be. One of the things I find interesting in explaining to people, especially when you get those independent kind of data sets, is that you are just as likely to get heads 10 times in a row than you are heads, tails, 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 heads, tails, tails, tails. Each one of those is independent, like each outcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's just as likely everything is.
Yeah.
Same with poker as well. When the
Yeah.
cards come up, you're just as likely. We just
Yeah.
give value to certain cards more than others.
One of the things I find interesting with lottery is that by adding the two, is it supplementaries? Is that what they're called?
think
The
so, yeah.
supplementaries.
Sometimes, or a
It
Powerball or
halved
something.
your chances of winning the lottery by adding those two balls at the end. It's like, the supplementary balls, It's like we just halved your chances of winning,
Oh, it is. It's very clever how a lot of
It's
these...
statistics, man. It's statistics.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
it is.
It's
Looking
just-
into this,
yeah.
there is some really clever things they've done with statistics that you think actually improve your chances of winning when they do exactly the opposite. you know?
Yeah, wow.
There is someone sitting there, they've got a maths nerd or
Oh
someone with
yeah, absolutely, man. That's
huge
that's,
Asperger's there. It's like, this is
Well,
definitely what we need to do. Definitely,
but that's what they
definitely.
do. They employ a lot of physicists and stuff like that. Those people with mathematical, degrees and stuff to go into finance and to go into these type of organizations in order to, create equations and, predictability and stuff like that. Like you have a statistics degree, you're very likely that you're going to work for a company in data analysis or you're going to work for like the TAB in calculating, which is like it's like the big kind of gambling.
the bet thing.
Yeah,
Our
the
big betting agency.
Bet 365 type thing.
Yeah.
I think you guys have that in the US.
I just assume so because Samuel L. Jackson does the ads.
Yeah.
Yeah, motherfucker. So, as you said, poker machines are completely independent. Each spin doesn't matter what happened before. So, a lot of people, when they're like, this one's paying out, and they sit there for a while, that's just complete chance. And a lot of people are like, this one hasn't had a win in a while, so it's due. Same again, it's complete chance. It actually has no bearing on it whatsoever. And this phenomenon, which we talked about, same with the coin toss, is called the gambler's fallacy. And it's actually a common misconception, and these big gaming companies absolutely play up to it Apparently, it's also known as the Monte Carlo fallacy, which makes it sound kind of like fancy.
Yeah, no, it makes it sound like you're worth a lot.
Yeah,
The Monte
Carlo fallacy.
Okay.
I'll go with the gambler's fallacy. And it basically, it goes along the lines of like you were saying. People believe that the longer one set of circumstances occur, then the more likely another outcome will be. You know what I mean? So if you have heads, eventually
has to be a tails
it's going to have to be tails. And it's not true. Okay? And like, this is why we get the feeling that if we keep losing, we must be getting closer to the win. And this is where gambling addiction really starts to take a hold, because they're like, oh, it must be coming, it's just a bit longer. So I did a bit of maths here. If I flip a coin about 23 times and it comes up with heads each time, and the odds of this occurring are actually pretty similar to winning the major jackpot on a poker machine. So getting 23 heads in a row.
Wow, okay.
Okay, now most people, they've done tests on this, would then pick tails as the next option. But it's still a 50-50. It's just as likely to be heads still in that next turn.
Okay, yeah.
You know, and that's exactly what the gambling fallacy is. Now, 2014 article out of your and my favourite publication,
PNAS.
They looked at the damage to different areas of the brain associated with like problem gambling, so pleasure areas and addiction and things like that.
The damage?
Yeah, so they looked at people who had suffered brain damage in different areas of their brain.
Okay, so I thought you meant gambling damaged the brain. I'm like, what?
Possibly, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to go with yes.
Don't quote me on that.
Yeah.
But
what they
yes.
did, they had a look at how like these people with different areas of damage in the brain actually react with things like the gambling fallacy, as well as what we call near misses on slot machines, where it looks like you almost get a win. You're like, oh, if that one was just one lower, I would have got that line and got an extra $200 or whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's what they call a near miss. So they looked at these people with different kinds of brain damage in different areas that like pleasure centers of the brain. Okay, and what they actually found was that almost everyone, so even the control groups and everyone, was susceptible to the gambler's fallacy as well as the near miss. So if you get a near miss, you're more likely to keep playing because you're like, oh, so close, I'll just try again.
That makes sense. That makes complete sense. I know, like, even, like, I very rarely will play a slot machine, but there's times when you're like, oh, it's got to be red now.
Yeah.
You know, or even, like, we have this thing called 2-Up on Anzac Day.
Yeah.
And it's pretty much, for the people in the US, it's like your Veterans Day. And somehow, for some reason in Australia, it's just a massive 14-hour piss-up. That's what it's turned into.
You celebrate your veterans.
You go and celebrate your veterans. They drink free at the pub. And
you just drink
go
a
to
lot
the
with
dawn
them
service and you just drink with them and play 2-Up, and everyone just drinks for 15 hours, and then for some reason there's always fights, which just goes against the whole purpose of the day.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
2-Up is a
not
ridiculous
Veterans Day.
game though. You just chuck in $50 on a coin.
You
toss
just,
or something.
yeah, and so it's pretty much they get 3 coins and they flip them and they throw them up in the air. It has to go over the head and it's in a ring. Everyone bets on it. So it's illegal, but on that day in Australia, they turn a blind eye to it. So you can bet $5, $10, $50 and you go heads or tails, and there's 3 coins, so that way you'll always get an outcome.
So you'll put your hand on your head with a $10 note, you'll say heads, and then someone will come along to you and go, all right, I've got $10 here, I'll go tails.
Yeah.
And then you bet one-on-one with people in a big ring.
And then it goes
And you
out
can make a lot of money very quickly or lose a lot of money very quickly as well.
I've seen it bring out the best and the very worst in people. And so what happens is you kind of go tails, and you're like, oh, it's got to be heads now. It's got to be heads now. And once again, like that's a fallacy I've fallen for.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's not uncommon. It seems like even people who have had these different areas of the brain damaged fall for it. People who have no damage to their brain fall for it. People who have areas that aren't associated with the pleasure senses fall for it. The only people that don't fall for it are people who have had damage to the insular part of the brain. The insula is like a small, it's towards the front of the brain. It's part of a lobe. I think it's called the insular lobe. It's sort of on the inside, and it's responsible for a lot of things, like more complex things in the brain. But people who have had damage to that actually don't fall for the gambler's fallacy, and they're less likely to play on from getting a near miss as well.
Wow. So like a head injury could actually prevent you from getting addicted to
Maybe. It depends.
Yeah.
What the
could
paper
influence your ability to fall for something, your vulnerability to fall for something.
That's right. I'm sure. Don't go out and like smack your head so you don't gamble too much money on the weekend.
This will make me smarter.
Yeah, that's right. But like what the paper says is like what that might suggest is that this insula might play a really significant role in people with problem gambling, and maybe we could, develop medical interventions to reduce activity in that area, and that could actually help treat gambling addiction. So they reckon that gambling addiction might have something to do with this part of the brain, because when it's damaged, you don't fall for these gambler's fallacy things. You don't fall for the near misses when this part of your brain is not firing at 100%.
Yeah, not functioning.
So if you can turn down the volume in that part of the brain, maybe we can treat gambling addiction.
Wow, that's awesome.
It is pretty good, isn't it?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's...
All right. Well, let's get back to the poker machines. So I'm not sure about the laws in the US, but here in Australia, a poker machine has to pay out somewhere between 85 and 90 cents per dollar that's gambled.
Wait, it has to pay out 80 cents. So if you put in $1,
85 to 90 cents. So if you put in $1, the idea is that if you gamble that dollar, you've had to have had at least 85 to 90 cents of winnings for that dollar gambled. Now I keep saying the word gambled because that's the trick. Okay, so a lot of people who lose all their money. So it's talking about 90% of the money gambled, not the money inserted into the machine. Okay,
now you're getting technical.
Yeah, I will. So
following.
I'll do some quick maths. I actually have a look at my piece of paper. When I say quick maths, look how many tries I try to do it. Okay, there's a lot of scribbles all over this. I'm like, I have to simplify this, but I got it. I got there in the end. All right. So look, let's just say you pull out $100 and you slap it in your favorite poker machine. What's your favorite poker machine?
Look, once again, I'm not a big gambler. Where's the gold? I don't know. Like once again, like I'm not a big gambler.
Neither am I, but you got a favorite, right? Mine's more chili, just because they go more chili when you win. You know.
Yeah, like
our mutual friend showed me a new one, the monkey one. You don't win very much, but every time you win something, it goes. Ooh, 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 ooh. So he loves that one.
There's a rose tattoo one. There's a rose tattoo one. It's got Angry Anderson going. Oh yeah. Rose tattoo like this.
Oh, that's so good.
Just like, oh my god, anything to make a buck.
Yeah.
Look, no, I'd say where's the goal? Just because, like, I don't play slot machines to win a lot of money. I just play for like here comes a feature, or it's just to kill. It's to kill time. Like the most I'll ever put in is probably $20 because I know, like, it's one of those things, isn't it? When you go to gamble for me anyway, I'm sure it's the same with you. Like when you go to gamble, you never bet any more than you're willing to lose. You have to go, I'm willing to throw that money away.
Yeah, I never go much past a 50 because once I go past 50, I'm like, I could have spent that money on beer.
Exactly. You could have spent that money on beer, or you could have, I don't know, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I need that for a kebab later.
Exactly, yeah. How am I going to be able to afford a kebab? That's exactly right.
I need a kebab and a taxi. I better hang on to this, not gamble.
That's exactly right. How many friends do we have that, or probably only a handful of them, but like they're like, oh yeah, can you spot me the cab? It's like, oh, you fucking loser. Yeah. You've blown it all again, haven't you?
Oh my gosh. When we went out after a football match with some of those guys, shit, they could slap. I watched them just plow through so many 50s. I was going, oh my God.
Yeah, I love it when someone like they'll say, I want $100 on the poker. He's like, oh, good on you, mate. And then you realise they put 50 in. It's like, well, hang on, no, you've only won $50. Or say if they win 20, they're like, oh, I got, they'll put in like 100, like, oh, I won 150. It's like, well, no, you've really only won 50. Yeah, you put in 100 and you got 50 back. I
won $500 tonight. But let's just forget about the 700 I spent the other night.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah. All right, sorry, back to your statistics. So,
all right. So
90% gambled.
Yeah, so 90% of whatever's gambled has to come back. That's by law. Okay. So some poker machines will even advertise, we give you 95 cents back for every dollar gambled as an appeal. So just to explain how it works, say you pull in $100, okay? Mm-hmm. You put in your favorite poker machine, and we'll say it's going to cost you $2.50 per spin because, you got to play big to win big,
That's actually quite a large bet, isn't it? $2.50.
That's I probably wouldn't be betting that much, but just for the sake of maths and my calculations, I'm just going to roll with that. Now, let's just say that the reels, you're spinning them once every 5 seconds, which is a little bit slow, I found out, because poker machines can go about 30 spins a minute. So that's one every 2 seconds you can do a spin. That's a lot,
have
right?
You seen those, like the real, go hard gamblers? The ones, and they stick, get this is fucking, when I saw it for the first time, I'm like, oh, that's kind of sad. A dude, right, had, little coasters?
Yeah.
He managed to wedge that in the spin button on the slot machine. Because in Australia we have buttons. I'm not sure if they still have the handles in the US. Crank. I don't know. The crank,
I don't know, yeah.
But in Australia we have buttons. He'd cram the beer coaster in the spin button, the start button. So it would just continually go, and he was playing another two machines.
Oh
I'm like,
God.
mate, I'm not going near him. Like, he was just...
Surely you're guaranteed to lose, because even if you win, you haven't got the takeout button. It's just going to keep spinning it down.
Yeah, but he's not... Like, that's the thing. It's just going for that big win.
Oh, my God.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it?
That's crazy. What is
Sorry,
wrong
go
with
on.
people?
I keep interrupting you.
So we got, that's okay. So $100 in, $2.50 per spin, and you're doing one spin every 5 seconds. Okay. So say you're on the machine for a little bit over half an hour. Now, unfortunately, it's not your night. You lose all your $100. So most people go, "Oh, I've just lost $100."
Okay, but then you'd think that would be against the law.
Yeah, apparently. But according to the ATM, you've lost $100. According to the poker machine, you've gambled $2.50 times 12 spins per minute times 30-ish minutes. So you've actually gambled $1,000. So you've gambled $1,000.
Hang on,
in half an hour.
okay, wait
You've put $100 in, but you've won. You haven't taken it out, so you've continued to gamble it. So at the end of it, you've actually gambled $1,000, but you've only down $100, which means what you've got left is $900 that the machine returned to you. You just didn't take it out, which is 90% of what you've gambled.
Oh, those bastards.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so cheeky.
Yeah, it is. So if you actually work out how much time and how frequently you're spinning,
Yeah,
that will
because
give you
they
an
would
indication
consider,
how
like,
much
even
you've
if you
actually
win, say,
gambled.
$2, it's like, well, hang on, okay, well, there's 75% of your money back for that spin.
Yeah, that's right. You put 50-cent spin and you've won $2. There you go. You've won 4 times that spin, and then they add that up. So it's the amount of money you've actually gambled, not the amount of money you put in.
So it's not, those bastards.
It is. So
those bastards. And if you think about it, even if you do win and then you gamble that again, so you split like heads or tails or whatever, then that's you gambling a whole nother amount again. So
Exactly.
You actually got more back than 90%.
Yeah.
So it's independent each spin.
Yep.
Those bastards.
It's pretty clever how it's worked
That's
out,
very clever. Okay.
Now, the thing is, new poker machines are all electronic, so they got the
Yep.
reels. Now, the old school machines had about 20 symbols on 3 reels, which meant there's about 8,000 combinations. Just trust me, 1 over 20 times,
Yep.
1 over 20 times. It's about 8,000.
Yep.
Okay, these new electronic machines have a random number generator. They're not actually reels. So there's about, say, 30 or 40 symbols on the first reel, and they've all assigned a random number. So when you press it, it's just fancy lights spinning round and round and round, and the number that gets spat out applies to a certain symbol. Okay, now because there's now 5 reels and 30 something, there are actually billions of combinations.
Oh,
Okay, so instead of being 1 in
but
8,000,
that's billions of chances to win.
that's it. Oh my gosh. Now, the digits are about, the random number generator produces about 400 different random numbers every second. So you never know. There is no way to predict what's going to come up in a poker machine. So the reels are really, really good at lying, would be a way to think about it. So when
Okay.
it's like, oh, there's this symbol just above it, if that was
Yeah.
1 lower, that symbol's just fucking there for show. It's not actually on there.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not actually a reel. Now, if you actually take that into account, there is very, very, like I talked about 1 in 10 million before, the chances of winning change around. So there's actually very, very little chance of you winning anything significant in any of these machines. When you think about it, like there's billions of combinations there, most
Yeah.
of them losing combinations.
Yeah, well, you'd need, I guess it's one of those things, like for a lot of machines, like, I know there was a big thing that the pokies were, the slot machines in Australia, they actually found out that the type of machine wasn't paying out properly, like should have been paying for combination wins and stuff, but it wasn't, and they estimated that it won like, like people ripped off millions and millions of dollars, like overall.
I wouldn't be surprised,
But
yeah.
I wouldn't know. Like you see some people like, oh, I got that there and that there and that there, and it's like what? That's just, there is no combination of that
There's
pattern whatsoever.
50 different lines and they know all of
Yeah.
them. Like, you really need to ease up. Call this number.
Exactly.
That number that they need to call in Australia is, oh, hang on, I've lost it.
No worry, they can research. They can Google it.
1-800-858-858, or in the
Hey.
US, 1-800-522-4700. Gamble responsibly.
That's it. But you think about it though, like we laugh about it, but like there's like people like lose their family homes and their kids, inheritance.
Their entire
and
pension, I know.
Their entire pension, and yeah, but it's funny because I've noticed that that Wish app. Have you seen that Wish app?
Oh, yeah.
There's a Wish app at the moment, and it's pretty much gambling. But they've found a way to make it like gambling for purchasing things. So what they'll do is they'll get you to spin a wheel, right? And you spin a wheel, and it'll give you, say, products.
Oh, have you got it, have you?
I've got it here. I've got it here. I'll show you. And so what happens for our listeners that are listening is that you open up the app and you've got browse. I'm showing Bernard at the moment this app. And what happens is that it gives you, daily login bonus. It gives you a daily login bonus. So earn up to 50% on. But see that little wheel thing there?
Yeah.
So it's called a blitz buy, right? And what you do is...
So this
you
is just kind of
spin.
like an eBay thing, but
It's like
a
an
gambling
eBay thing,
chucked on top of
yeah.
it.
So You got that? Okay,
Oh,
so
you won 10.
I
Well
won
done, Wade.
10. So it goes, you've unlocked 10 products for your Blitz buy. Play now. So it's play. So it's like a
Yeah,
gambler.
okay.
They're playing on the same kind of things.
Oh my god!
And then it gives you
What is that?
items.
A hip
that-
trainer.
Yeah. And it gives you items like that. And it'll give you kind of, saying, you can get this for this amount. It was this amount, but we're going to give it to this. Like that thing, what's that? That's like a face mask. It doesn't even tell you what they are. And it says, this is usually worth $4,409. We're going to give it to you today for $206. Like, it's pretty much like home shopping.
I'd be stupid
and the
not to buy it.
Yeah. And what's that? The hip thing that makes your butt more tonal. I might get that purchase. But the funny thing is, it plays on your like recent searches and stuff like that. So you go on the app and you buy things. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some good deals on there. But the whole point of it is that just throw it in your face. Look at all this stuff you can buy for really, really cheap.
Yep.
And then each time you play, you can get 5 points, and 5 points do this. And so they've built a whole eBay thing on the premise of playing a game,
Yeah.
i.e. gambling.
Yeah,
It's clever, isn't it?
It is very clever.
Yeah.
Yeah, it worries me. And like, even if you have a look at how these poker machines work, think about when you and I have played the pokies, even though we're not avid poker machine players. You know what a jackpot is? When you jump on a jackpot machine, they've got the little things that have
Oh, yeah.
connected up.
I think I've won like a minor jackpot once. It was like $25.
Yeah, right. So they've got those things hooked up, and then if you win a small amount, you can also gamble it, and you can pick red or black or a suit as well. So they're same, much like that app. There's all these little games that just bring you a little bit deeper in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you're playing it, they call it hit frequency. If you actually win anything, even if it's small or big, it's like how frequently you actually win anything. And poker machines have a hit frequency somewhere from 9 to 25%, depending on the machine.
Yeah.
So if there's a low hit frequency, usually those poker machines are paying out more money because they have to pay out a certain amount per dollar.
Yeah, okay.
And if there's a high frequency,
Then
hit
they pay
frequency,
less.
then they pay less
Yeah.
money out.
They
okay?
because they need to get to that 90%.
Exactly,
thing, yeah.
exactly. So like after you do that and you've got that gamble option. So say you win and you don't think it's very much, you press gamble, and then you've got the choice of red or black. So then it becomes a 50-50 thing. And the question our mutual friend asking is, I always gamble because I feel like I've got more of a chance of winning on a 50-50 or a 1 in 4 shot than I do on the actual spins. And I thought, that's actually kind of insightful. Is that a way you can actually get money out of the poker machines?
Oh, let me guess, no.
No. No, I had a bit of a look into this. And like, here's the thing. If you've got a 50-50, so you're betting if the suit's red or black, or if you've got a 1 in 4, you're picking the suit that comes up and it's a random card thing. It is
Hearts,
random.
diamonds, clubs,
Yeah, so
diamonds,
you pick the color, you double your money. You pick the suit, you quadruple your money. Okay, so now the thing is, you can improve your chances in one respect, but not really in another respect, because as soon as you gamble it more than once, say you've got a 50-50 chance, you hit it and you get it right, you got black. You gamble that again, you've got another 50-50 chance. So you've just gone back down to the same odds as your hit frequency anyway, as soon as you gamble it more than once.
Wait, but is it independent though? So it's 50-50.
So if you're
but to
picking
get
a
to
suit,
that point though, to get to that,
yeah,
so
to get it right the first time, you have to gamble
so
it
then
once, so
it's-
you got a 50-50, and
Yeah,
you have
so
another
now
50-50 chance.
so that's a 1 in 4 chance. That's a 20. You've then
And that's-
halved your chances of winning.
And then if you do it a third time, it's a
then
1 in
you've-
12
it's one-
and a half. So you're back down to the same chance as your hit frequency as your chance of winning on a spin anyway.
Okay.
But the other thing is, which we need to remember,
Because
is...
it's 0.5 times 0.5, and then you go
Times-
again 0.5, 0.5.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
And it's even worse if you're going for a suit. So it's 0.25 times 0.25, so whatever,
Yeah.
how many different times you do it.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, while that might seem, I've got a better chance of winning because it's 50-50 instead of, 12.5% of your hit frequency, while that's correct, what you're neglecting to take into account is you've given the poker machine another chance at that same money. You know what I mean? You've already gambled that money and they've given you a win. You haven't got that win yet. You're just gambling that same amount again. They've just basically given you a free spin. You're not making more money out of this.
Yeah, okay.
You've given the poker machine another chance to take,
your money, yeah.
rather than just taking it.
And they've got better odds at taking it too now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then once they give you that extra win, so you collect the right, you pick red and hey, look, it's hearts. You win, you double your money. You've just increased the chances that 90 cents for every dollar payout as well. You've changed that ratio too.
Oh, fucking hell. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? And then these
Yeah.
other venues, we talked about the jackpots before. We'll have multiple machines hooked up to one jackpot.
Yeah.
Right? So that, if you get just really lucky, you might get a major or minor or some jackpot and you get however much. Now, what that actually does, though, because the jackpots are hooked up, those machines are programmed to reduce your hit frequency because they're hooked up to a jackpot. So they increase the payout from the jackpot too.
Oh, so you're less likely to win on a jackpot machine because they consider that kind of jackpot prize and they spread it amongst all the machines that have a jackpot.
Absolutely.
Wow.
It's pretty
clever.
It's very clever, but it's sort of like... Now, the thing is as well, if you're on a jackpot machine, this is one thing, you get a feature, so you get free games. You can no longer win a jackpot if you're on a feature screen.
Okay.
So even if you're on those machines and you're lucky enough to get a feature that you're probably likely to win less out of because of the hit frequency, you're in that feature,
so I'll just
no
stop you
longer
there.
eligible to hit the jackpot.
I'll just stop there for those people who don't know what a feature is. Each machine has, say, if you get 3 or 2 or 4 images or whatever of a certain thing, then it goes into a feature and you get, say, 20 free spins.
Yep.
And it just keeps spinning and it keeps adding up. And then there's all these little games within that.
Games within games.
Within games. So what you're saying is if you get that screen that comes up, then you're no longer eligible for...
Yeah, it cuts you out. You can't win a jackpot while a feature's going on.
Okay, yep.
And so you've got reduced likelihood of winning and then you can't win the jackpot anyway.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, there's a lot of really clever things these machines have hooked up.
Oh, they're designed to win.
They are. That's it. That's what a lot of people forget. These machines are designed to win. They're not looking after you. They're looking after the club.
I personally feel that people do know that. People do know that, but they play on that risk of, but what if I do win? You know, like that'll change everything. I heard a story of this person who won $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, that could be me. You know?
All right, well, let's put this in perspective. How much do you reckon poker machines reel in for Australia each year? Or for the clubs or taking?
Man. In Australia, it'd be huge. Billions. I don't know what...
$11 billion.
Holy shit. What's that per person?
Per year. That'd be...
Let's say we've got 25 million. So 100 million. It depends what you classify as a billion, though.
Our billion, our regular one. 9 zeros.
9 zeros?
Nine
okay.
zeros.
Fucking hell. So that's huge. What's that? Jesus.
It's 250... No, that can't be right.
Okay, so we've got 25 million?
About that, yeah. I think we're a little bit less.
Okay, so 9 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, divided by 25 million.
That's 6 zeros.
1, 2, 3, That's $40 per person.
$40 per person.
That's children, babies. Say we've got a population of 25 million. That means that every year, statistically, every mother, father, child, grandmother puts in $40 into a pokey.
Oh man, that's crazy, isn't it?
And I somehow feel there's a small percentage of the population that really kind of,
they're just dragging that up, aren't they? Yeah. If you wipe out everyone under 18, theoretically, who's not on those poker machines, that would dramatically change that.
Yeah, I somehow think if you have a look at the age distribution as well, I think you'd find the elderly putting more too.
Yeah, probably. Now, most of that $11 billion actually comes from our state, New South Wales.
Represent.
$5.2 billion straight from us. Now, the thing is, a lot of these games are designed, like we talked about, to trigger reward centers in the brain with all these pretty lights and all those sounds, and any win, big or small, triggers like a positive feedback mechanism. Like, woo, it makes me feel good. I won 2 cents. Now, when they look at this positive feedback mechanism, how it moves through the brain, it's actually really similar to cocaine.
Oh, wow.
So if you take cocaine and it lights up these parts of your brain, that's really similar to winning a jackpot in a poker machine.
Really?
Yeah, which is why we think it might be so addictive.
Makes sense.
Yeah, so basically all I'm saying is you can't win at the pokies. And the more you try, the more you're just going to gravitate towards the mean of 90 cents in every dollar.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking, well, I've only won 80 cents out of the dollar, then you're going to put more money in. And sure, you might get towards that, but you've had to spend more money to get towards that 90 cents
That
anyway.
90 cents. So you've just lost 90, you've just lost 10% of a larger amount.
Yeah, the only way to win at pokies is to play them once and win and then never play them again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. But then if you do lose, just quit.
Yeah, that's right.
No one comes out on top on the pokies.
I'm not leaving here till I win.
Yeah. Oh, that's so informative.
It's crazy though, isn't it?
It's so clever how they play on statistics. Like you're literally getting, tricked by mathematicians.
Yeah, mathematicians. I like that.
But it's true though. Like they lure people in with these what are correct statements, but play on the statistical kind of trickery of what statisticians know. So by being mathematically literate, you can further understand,
or somewhat. You saw how many scribbles I had.
Somewhat, but the fact is that you can look at that and understand roughly about what they're saying.
Yeah.
Or just listen to an expert, a statistician saying you will lose your money. Like,
Yeah.
but
That's it. Everyone knows you're going to lose your money.
yeah,
Don't go into poker machines thinking you're going to have a big win because you're probably not. And
Yeah.
by the time you get there, you've probably spent more than you've won anyway.
yeah. I wonder if these people that say, like, the studies that 99% of climate studies say that climate science studies say that the climate change is real. Or like, there's that 1%. I wonder if they're the same people. It's like, there's that 1%. I'm going to win.
Yeah, that's
like,
right. There's that chance.
That's 10 times the amount I'm going to get back. Although it's like,
I feel less
fascinating.
inclined to have a slap now, honestly. Like, even though I'll go down to the pub and it's a time killer for me. I'll just sit there and go, oh yeah, something to do for a little bit. I might win, maybe I'll get a few extra drinks out of this, whatever. But I'm less inclined
Won't have to
do
go
it
home
now.
to the wife.
Yeah, that's right. I'll just have a hit on more chili.
I will. It's pretty much saying I will pay to not hang around my wife.
And then eventually, if I do, and I get to come home, so I'm not in trouble. It's all right. I've got $400 extra than when I left.
I'm renting this seat. But it is funny though.
I
Because,
definitely don't do that, honey, if you're listening.
But it is funny though because there are some places that some pubs and some casinos that will offer you free drinks when you are playing, the slot machine. So that'll give you an idea of how profitable it is
Yep.
for a venue to have poker machines if they're offering you free drinks
Yep.
whilst you're there.
Just do 1 cent bets
Yeah.
and make sure you're spinning the reels really slowly.
Yeah. Or just like pulling the arm down to the lever. It's like... It's just so you're still pulling the lever down and you've had 4 drinks.
Yeah.
My arm's sore.
My answer. Long Island iced tea, please.
Yeah. So, like, if you do find those places that do offer drinks, we suggest just doing 1 cent bets and just get plastered on free drinks. Stick
Then
it
you're
to the
winning.
man.
Then you're winning.
Then you're winning. Then you're coming out on top.
Until the next day.
Till the next day, and then you start developing a drinking problem. Then you've got 2 problems. But hey, you've doubled your chances of an addiction.
If you have a drinking problem, please call. No, I don't know what the alcoholic one is. I didn't write that one
But
down.
in all honesty, though, although we laugh about it, it's really sad that even is like allowed to happen.
It is. It
Like-
is. They need to treat it like an addiction. I think they do. There is a lot of help out there for treating it like an addiction.
But like we could go up the road right now, and there will be at least 20 people in that room on a Tuesday playing.
Yeah. In the morning. Yeah, that's
In the
weird.
morning,
That weirds
you
me
go to the
out.
casino, that thing doesn't shut, and they even don't have clocks on the walls.
Yeah.
And there's no windows. Have you noticed there's no windows?
I've noticed that as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
there's no
really hard to
windows.
tell what time of day it is.
It's
isn't it, at
really
the
hard to
casino?
tell what time it is at the casino.
Yeah, I've had a couple of big ones and walked out when the sun's coming out from the casino.
You're like,
I was
"Oh,
just at the
Jesus."
bar or watching a football match because, Australia, we only get football matches at 2 a.m. and things.
Yeah, no, it sucks.
But, yeah.
Yeah, but well, thanks, Bern. That was really insightful, really scary too, and it goes to show the importance of mathematics in today's society, like having a basic understanding of statistics, which a lot of people don't have.
Yeah,
'Cause,
teach your kids maths and stats so they don't become gambling addicts.
But I wonder if that's the case because people take drugs and abuse alcohol, which is a drug, or do certain things, even though they know it's bad for them and it will kill them and it will cause cancer and all this type of stuff, but they still do it. So I wonder if that might be an interesting thing to do an episode on, maybe addiction. Like what are the preventative measures for addiction?
Yeah, okay. I think that's good. I think we need to hit the books.
All right, let's do it. Thanks, guys.